Hey, it's the Local Spotlight Show here at WJBM Studios in Jerseyville, Illinois, the voice of the Tri-Counties. I am Chris Lorton. I'm your host again today. And my guest today, longtime friend for many, many years, and a heck of a coach, a career coach, Coach Rick Johns. Welcome, Coach. How are you?
Well, I'm doing fine, Chris. Thanks for having me.
I love having you. So now you're retired.
That's what I am.
You are retired?
I'm working it hard at being the best retired I can be.
Well, that's important.
Yes, it is.
Now, where'd you grow up at?
I'll keep it short.
Yeah.
I was born in Detroit General Hospital in Detroit, Michigan.
Never knew that.
And the thing is, we lived there till my 6th grade year. And that's when it really hit the fan in our country, like 1968, 69.
Yeah.
And these big cities were burning. The old burn, baby, burn. Detroit was on fire.
Yeah.
And my dad was a truck driver, and he had a terminal in St. Louis, Missouri. And he said, like everybody on our block, there was what they call white flight. Everybody property values just dropped. Everybody had to get. Everybody left. So we had a great neighborhood back then, but we left and we went to Belleville, Illinois.
Yeah.
So that was when I was in 6th grade, 1968.
And it was all boys. You had some brothers, right? No sisters?
No sisters. I have my middle brother, Chris, and my youngest brother, Jeff. They're both doing well. Chris just retired.
Cool.
Jeff's still working.
So, of course, everybody knows you're a career football coach. How about your career as a player? Played at Belleville? Yeah,
I played at Belleville East High School, and I was just, I had to work really hard to get on the field. We had over 3,000 kids in our school, and Belleville was really a football town at that time, with East, Altoff, and West all being really good. And anyway, it was, I didn't have anything like a storied career. I was just a kid who had to work hard to get on the field.
But you were in love with football.
Yeah, loved the game, loved everything about it. Loved everything about it. Fell in love with the game. I loved the pageantry of the game.
Yeah.
I love the uniforms. Anyway, I just everything about the game. I couldn't get it off my mind. And I've got my 50th class reunion coming up, and I know I'm going to hear over and over, you know what, Rick, you're the only guy who's doing exactly what you said he was going to do in high school. Yeah, because in high school, I was going to be a high school football coach.
Yeah.
And then I always thought I'd end up being a college coach, but that never happened.
Yeah. I remember, and you came to Calhoun. That was your first head coaching job.
Yes.
High school football. But you coached a little bit. You were coaching like Pee Wee or something?
Yeah, I coached Little League football, Belleville Little Knights, and my student teaching career was at, one season was at Belleville East, too, which was a great staff and was a big help in my program, in building me as a coach.
I just remember when I heard that they were hiring this guy, and he was an art teacher, and I thought to myself, art teacher?
Yeah.
Art teacher? Why? How could he be a football coach? He's an art teacher, But then, what came about, which I always tell people about, is that being the art teacher, it's the best job to have.
It was.
Yeah. Tell us about that, being an art teacher and the head football coach.
Well, the thing is, I had the opportunity as the county art teacher.
Yeah.
I was seeing kids from their 1st grade year till their senior year. And I was the art guy. I was probably their favorite class. Favorite class. And I tell you, I was recruiting them when they were 3rd grade, Yeah. And I loved I'd be the all-time quarterback in the playground, and stuff like that. And so, that really helped out. And, just a backstory there, I wasn't smart enough to be a math teacher or a science teacher, but I was good at art. Yeah. So that was my ticket in.
Yeah.
I always wanted to be a football coach first and an art teacher second. But
did you think about that, about being the art teacher and being able to actually get to these young boys,
Well, if I would have started off at Belleville East High School, I wouldn't have had that opportunity.
Yeah.
But, I don't know if it's a funny story, but I was going to graduate from SIU Eversville, and I went into the placement office. And I said, well, I want to be an art teacher and a football coach, not in that particular order, but that's what I'll be qualified to do. I didn't even have a driver's ed degree. But the guy, I went in there prepared to fill out a bunch of paperwork and stuff.
Yeah.
And this guy just looked up at a board and goes, well, here's one right here. Hardin, Illinois, art teacher, football coach, Yeah. And within days, I was driving up the River Road, and I, had my fiance with me, and we're looking around. I didn't even know.
Never been to Hardin?
Yeah, no. Actually, I kind of had one time, but that's a different story. But, I ended up, I'm going to tell that story just real quick.
Yeah.
My brother's senior year, I took a fan bus from Belleville East to Quincy High School. Mm-hmm. And we came up through Calhoun.
On Route 100.
Campsville. Yeah, we came. And I'd never seen the Great River Road. I'd never seen those bluffs or where the rivers combine. And then we just hit the outback, man. We were in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah.
And I remember driving through Hardin, and I'm saying, my God. I was talking to the guy next to me. I said, I wonder if they even play football up here. And the guy looked at me and goes, no, they don't play football, but they have a big basketball game against this school down south named Brussels.
Yeah.
So anyway, I had been through there one time. But anyway, we ended up, and I remember going up the River Road, my fiance and I, Terry, and we were driving along, and we kind of lost track of, civilization.
Yeah.
And then there it was, a Hudson Hornet on a post, on a pole, Bazillion's junkyard.
Oh, yeah, right.
That was the first sign of civilization, since we left Pierre Marquette. Anyway, so that was an interesting situation altogether. I changed into a nice set of clothes over at the Barefoot.
Yeah.
And
you must have interviewed well.
Well, I don't think they could have given me the job quick enough. They were just excited. So,
somebody showed up.
Yeah, and not only that, I mean, it's not easy to find an art teacher, football coach, and there I was.
Yeah.
But I remember the guys. I remember the people interviewing me, and the people. There was a contingent of people that were watching the interview, and they weren't too happy with what was going on because they wanted to voice their opinion about this art teacher, football coach.
Yeah.
And the big thing was. I remember this one fella goes, how do we know he just won't get tenure and quit? And for me, all I ever wanted to do in my life was coach football. And, that would never even occur to me to get tenure and leave a football job, But anyway, so I had a great advocate in James Ringhausen.
Yeah.
And he always was. When you and I were talking earlier, you were talking about my second season where I had to dismiss like 6 two-way starters early in the year, knowing that we weren't going to be competitive for the rest of the year.
Yeah.
And
the story behind that was basically, doing things they weren't supposed to be doing.
Right.
And you got word of it, and you said, got to let you go.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, that if this wasn't addressed harsh, that we were never going to be successful.
No.
I mean...
But when you did that the whole mentality of being... Because, these guys, they didn't have much,
Right.
I mean, if they didn't... There's not a lot of choices. And, football fit well in Calhoun.
It was perfect.
It was a good fit.
Calhoun, it was... I've been a lot of places. I've been 8A to 1A. And a Calhoun football player is the best football player I've ever coached. Not saying the physical. I've had tremendous physical players. But as far as mentality, I mean, those Calhoun kids were just tough, unbreakable, just hard-nosed, good kids.
Yeah.
From hard-nosed, good families. Yeah. Never had anything like it, ever.
Yeah. What was it like when you first took over that. My brother Matt was on that team.
Right.
That first team. I think he was quarterback on that team, and you had Paulie Robine was on that team, and
I had a bunch of characters on that team. It was a lot of fun, and you know what? They thought, I made an impression, and I was just a little bit older than them. You know, I was 24. They were 17 and 18. You know, I mean, but they really thought, wait a minute.
They bought in, didn't they?
Yeah, we can win. And, we ended up winning 4 games. We won a game at Carrollton, which our kids, Carrollton was pretty good then. And we played everybody tough, But anyway, and that was the year, pretty interesting year of, I think we had some tragedy with a young man named Simon, our captain. But anyway, the thing is, they did. They bought in, and the kids did, and they really helped get it going. And of course, we took a huge setback the next year.
Yeah. Hey, if you're just joining us, I have Rick Johns with me. Coached at you coached at Calhoun, Carlinville, Triad, Belleville West, Jersey, Westland. Yeah. How many years did you put in coaching? Like 40 or 50?
Yeah, it was 39, I think.
40 years? Yeah.
Yeah, 39, 40.
And you had how many state championships did you get?
Well, I had 2 state championships at Calhoun and a runner-up, which, I'm as proud of that runner-up team as the championship teams. They came out of, we'd had some success and been to the semifinals. But, they went to the championship game.
If you could have looked into your crystal ball, would you ever left Calhoun?
Well, that's an interesting question, Chris, because sometimes you got to make hard decisions.
Yeah, I understand.
You have to do with family.
Right.
And, I don't want to get long-winded, but I was so full of myself after those championships and everything. I thought I was going to be the guy that could consolidate Brussels and Calhoun, and Hardin, and I thought we could have one really nice school district.
I know you talked about that a lot.
Yeah, with a good tax base and everything, and it really looked like it had some legs. And then all of a sudden, it was just over. No, we're not going to do it. And that was from the South End. And anyway, at that moment, I said, okay, I was either going to have to move my family to Calhoun, or I was going to have to, take another job. And I looked around, and I thought maybe the best thing for us was to go to Carlinville. It wasn't, but that's what I thought at the time.
Yeah. Of all the teams that you coach, and I'm just hitting on Calhoun because, this is our listeners are from the Tri-County, and we got a lot of, they're all familiar with the Calhoun football success. Your style of coaching, all right. How did you make money off that? How was it so successful for you? What'd you like about it?
Well, if somebody came to me and said, I got this assistant I want you to check out named Chris Lorton, and, he's done this, he's done that, he played here, he played there. I'd still want to know, well, what kind of communicator is he? Can the guy communicate? Because I don't care what he knows if he can't communicate and reach these kids.
Yeah.
So my greatest, attribute was my love of the game. And you coach with me. I am a communicator.
Yeah. You are. Yeah. Especially
you can talk
kids.
to me. I can talk to you. And, my door's always open. And, I love the kids. But the Calhoun kid, you could really push. They were never afraid of hard work. Mm-hmm. And they were willing to do. There was never a rebellion. They were willing to do what it took. And anyway, so that allowed me to not only be the good guy, communicator guy, but also I knew I had some leverage to coach them hard.
Yeah.
And we did, and as you know.
Yeah.
We coached them hard.
We didn't cut them any slack at all.
No. Our kids always did. And if somebody had to pay the price for being out of line, they paid the price. There were,
I think a good attribute that you had is you could take a look at a player. You watched a player, the way he moved, just the way and you could fit him to the right position.
Yeah.
Example.
I've always felt
example.
that, yeah.
Justin Gibson.
Yeah.
Fastest kid on the team.
Right.
He was our center.
He was our center. Center and linebacker.
Center and linebacker.
Right. Yeah.
You put people where they needed to go.
I always felt that was one of my strengths, is getting the kids plugged into the right spots. Mm-hmm. And I know when I went to Triad, they had a really poor program, and we turned it around, in short order. We had a hell of a program there. And one of the things was I'm not bragging or anything, but my influence in saying, well, we need to totally restructure it, and we need to take this maniac halfback. He's okay, but he's a fabulous safety. Let's get him there. His name was Chris Miller. Things like that. We totally restructured the offense and defense and got the kids in the right spot where maybe, a kid who was okay would hurt us less because he was in the right position.
Yeah.
So we took, we flipped it on its head, and we flipped that whole program in 1 year. Wow. We lost our first year. In the second year, we lost to state runner-up Morris, who lost in the quarterfinals, and I think they lost maybe in overtime to Joliet Catholic in the championship. So we were hard-nosed. But anyway,
how'd you end up at Jerseyville?
At Jerseyville, we had
How many years were you here?
I think I was at 4.
4 years.
But it's kind of hard to tell because we had that COVID thing right in the middle of it.
Yeah,
it might have been 5. But how I ended up there is I had we went 9-0 and then lost in the playoffs at Westclin, and that's the first time they had ever done anything like that.
Where's Westclin at?
It's called Trenton Westclin, and Westclin stands for West Clinton County. And the closest
is that
town.
Up north?
No, it's south.
Okay.
It's south in the Metro East area, kind of off 64, near Mascoutah.
Okay.
But it's been between two nice towns, Trenton and New Baden. And they were an abysmal program, and got them into the playoffs twice, won 9-0 season, their only conference championship ever, only undefeated season ever. But anyway, I knew, that I was trying to get to my 200th win. I knew that after the following year, I was going to have a tough time. And I saw the Jerseyville job opened up, and I thought I'd give it a try. And I felt that by coming to Jerseyville, I'd really, there was no way I wouldn't get to 200 wins. But
did you get 200?
197.
Oh, shoot.
Yeah, and again, I'm no excuses, but that COVID thing didn't help out.
Yeah.
And my second year there when we were good, we only
Jerseyville?
Jerseyville. We had a lot of kids back from that playoff team, and we ended up going, I think, 2-7. No excuse for that.
Yeah.
But every week we'd lose a tough game to a playoff team. It was unbelievable. It was
tough schedule.
It was an unbelievable schedule.
Yeah, tough.
And normally, we play Effingham, so what? Well, Effingham was a semifinal team that year.
Yeah.
Marion, okay, we do well against Marion. Well, they were a deep playoff team. This is Highland, best team ever. It was, but now that was the only team that blew us out. But anyway, that's, excuses for losers. So anyway.
Yes. Where'd you go after Jerseyville?
After Jerseyville, that was the end of the line.
It was?
Yeah, Westclin was before Jerseyville.
Okay.
Jerseyville was it.
All right.
Yeah.
Let's go back to Calhoun. All right.
Please.
For a minute. I just remember, well, for the listeners, how many years had you coached before I joined you?
Maybe 2.
Yeah. I think I was in the third year.
I think that might have been our first winning season.
It was I know did we make it to playoffs that year?
No, we should have, but it was so tough to make the playoffs. We won 6 games 2 years in a row, didn't make the playoffs either year.
Yeah.
And those would have been good playoff teams too, I think.
Yeah, I remember I came from Chester and ended up getting a head basketball job at Calhoun.
Yeah.
And then you're like, hey, you need to coach. I'm like,
right.
I'll help you coach football. But I really got into it. I really liked it.
We had a lot of fun.
Yeah, we did. And then you were my assistant at basketball. Yeah. But you did a good job.
Oh, I was terrible. I was terrible. I was terrible for you. I was terrible for Roach, and I was terrible for Church. I just didn't think that way, man.
That's all right.
I never played a second of basketball in my life.
True. Yeah. But I can remember some of the players we had. Like I just remember that too, especially. And we had some. I was there helping you for 3 years, and like Kenny Jones.
Yeah, one of a kind.
One of a kind. He was something else. He could carry the mail.
Yeah, he was a load. He was subhuman strong.
Yeah.
Without ever having to work at it, without ever having to lift, he would walk into the weight room and embarrass everybody. Yeah. With just how strong he was. Just crazy strong kid. Yeah. Man.
And then you coached Jonah White.
Jonah White.
I think he was a sophomore. I think maybe my last year there at Calhoun. I think he was a sophomore, but he heck of a football player.
Prolific. He had 900 yards rushing in the playoffs. Yeah. He was he had, speaking of basketball, if you watch Jonah White shoot a basketball, you feared for the backboard.
Okay. Wait a minute.
No finesse at all.
Hey, remember the story where you were having a hard time at halftime and you needed somebody to carry the ball, and you go ahead and tell it.
Oh, yeah. You're talking about at Triopia.
Yeah.
And it was a tough night. Actually, it was a Wednesday playoff game. And we'd already beaten them, I think, that year. And, they were giving us hell. We walked in.
Hey, Coach, you know what?
What?
We're going to continue this on the next episode because we've ran out of time.
Well, that was quick.
It's a cliffhanger.
Can I cuss?
Huh? Can you cuss?
Because it's going to be hard to finish this story. Okay, I can't.
Okay, hey, we're going to end this first episode here, and then we're going to be back tomorrow to hear the next episode. So,
okay.
Hold tight. Welcome to the Local Spotlight Show here at WJBM Studios in Jerseyville, Illinois, the voice of the Tri-Counties. I have my good friend and great coach, Rick Johns, with me. He was on the episode before, and we're just got in the middle of a story, and we ran out of time, so we're taking off from there.
Okay.
And it was halftime at Triopia.
First round playoff game, a Wednesday afternoon. I used to play Wednesday, Saturday in those playoff games, and it was a Wednesday afternoon. And
go ahead. And were you guys down?
Yeah.
Downtown? Yeah.
It was close, but it was down, and we still, to win the game, we had to make a stop on fourth down. A kid named John Bick made a hell of a play on a bootleg play, I remember. But anyway,
with Jonah White, the story about Jonah White.
Jonah. It was tough, and I think we were all losing our mind, at half, because we were good.
Yeah,
and we knew we were good. And anyway, we just sit down, and I remember I had a young man who said something to the effect of, he just wasn't getting a read. Thing is, his job, he didn't have to read anything. He had a very specific job, so I kind of lost my cool on him a little bit. But then Jonah spoke up. He just said, Coach, I'm going to clean this up a little bit. Give me the freaking ball, 40 and 41. That's where inside trap plays.
Yeah.
Until I drop. I said, okay. And we started the second half with a ball. We ran 40 and 41, 9 straight plays right into the end zone. And next time we got the ball back, pretty well the same thing. And they just couldn't stop it. No, we could have told them what we were going to run.
They didn't believe it.
And it didn't matter. It didn't matter. They couldn't have stopped us with 12 kids. But anyway, we dug out, and we ended up taking the lead and hanging on to win. But yeah, that was Jonah in a nutshell. Not a bit of finesse. If I had to tell a bad story about him, one time we were playing Greenfield, the game we lost that year. He breaks into the open, he's wide open. He got some poor little safety out there, scared to death, out in the middle of the field. Jonah steps one way or the other. It's a touchdown. No, not Jonah. He has to run this kid over, and he ran him over, but then tripped.
Yeah.
He just tripped on the body. Anyway, that was Jonah, man. Just no finesse at all, none. But he did get better as the season went on, as far as running with his eyes a little bit, and that's how he had the great semifinal game against Lexington, where their defense was their pride and joy, and he came within 5 yards of rushing for 300 yards in that game. So,
how about that Nate Lorton kid?
Nate Lorton still, pound for pound, the best player I've ever coached. It's, I've had kids Division I levels. Yeah, I've had kids play Division I, and but we're talking about the high school level, and I'm saying pound for pound. Now, would he have had the same success at Belleville West against all those great athletes? I don't think so. But I'm just saying, it's all relative. Where he was against great kids like him, great programs like him, he was the most complete player I've ever had. And the thing is about Nate, he didn't care if it was defense, offense, or special teams. He was going to give 100%. And that's all you can give. I don't care what people say about 110 crap. You can give 100%, and that's it. And you know what? I mean, he really did. A lot of kids think they're giving their all. That kid, a punt winning 45-0 in the fourth quarter against North Green. To him, that was like 4th and 1 in a state championship game.
Didn't matter.
Didn't matter. He was on that field. It was all he had right now. That's how he played.
Yeah.
A lot of kids think they're doing that. They're not.
Yeah. I just remember as a spectator, I remember one time, and you can tell the story, but those years where you'd win, you'd be 45-50 to nothing in the first half, and then, the second team would play a lot. But you didn't like to get scored on. That was kind of like nobody's scoring on the defense.
Right.
And for somebody, they broke one away and they got to the 2-yard line, and you put in the number one defense, keep them from scoring. And I think your assistant coach at that time who was your assistant? Brandenburg, right. And he came to the huddle. This is just hearsay from the other guys,
Yeah.
And he says, if they score, you're doing 10 hills or something if they score. And Nate is in the background, and he goes, make it 20.
That sounds about right.
And then the team looked at him like, Nate, what'd you do that for?
Yeah.
So, anyway.
I'm glad you brought that up. I would like to say where all that came from. Whenever I got to Calhoun, my second year, we were getting beat 45-0 at halftime at Triopia. And their principal came up and walked off the field with me. And he said, now, Coach Johns, Coach Kemp, he is going to substitute on offense, but he will protect this shutout. And for whatever reason...
Kind of stuck with you?
Yeah. In the WIVC, shutouts were to be protected.
Uh-huh.
And when I was at Calhoun, I always protected a shutout. That's a special thing. It's like, I guess I'm the kind of guy that's not going to pull a kid throwing a no-hitter. You know?
Yeah.
We're going to see this out. Anyway, so that's where that came from.
Now, do you remember the kid Craig Robine?
Yeah, what a great kid, and so many different levels.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, played great at high school.
Yeah.
Player, played Indiana, and played in the.
He made it to final cut for the Broncos or something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, but he ended up playing
In Europe?
in a Europe league.
Yeah,
and he was over in Scotland playing for a team in Scotland.
Yeah, the Claymores.
Yeah.
You know, he's got an interesting story in that when he was a rookie, I think he was trying out for Denver. They're the ones that gave him a free agent look.
Yeah.
And Peyton Manning used to love. No, it was in Indianapolis.
Yeah, Indianapolis.
Peyton Manning would like to sit and watch film with his linemen. That was a big thing for Peyton, and Craig was in on that.
Yeah.
In that room, which was pretty cool. And then he got cut and he came back later on and he tried out for Denver. And who was quarterback? Peyton Manning.
That's right.
He got to sit right and watch film with Peyton Manning.
He was in the huddle with Peyton.
Yeah.
Before also,
sure.
And I think some pregame stuff.
Yeah.
Or preseason games.
Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah. Any other standouts as far as players, Calhoun players?
Oh,
there's so many of them, but
there were so many just really, really good ones.
How about that
really
state championship? Winning that first state championship. Now, that game wasn't easy. You guys were down at half.
Yeah, and after the game, I could have picked. They wanted somebody to speak, on television. There was 10 guys I could have picked. I picked Chad Squire, Juice.
Yeah.
Because he was kind of the epitome of the Calhoun kid. He was our center and defensive end. But there were so many good ones. We had a kid named Jason Tapin who played tackle for us and that. And when people talk about the great Calhoun players, Jason's not going to come. He was so quiet, just unassuming, till he walked out there in between the lines. And he was a great player.
Yeah.
There was just a lot of them.
Hey, I remember this play. This is when I was coaching with you. And it was kind of like this game, it was like the turning point for us. We'd never made it to the playoffs yet. Mm-hmm. And Matt Ballman, it was like 0-0. It was us, I think, and it was us and Route. Remember that?
Yeah, the night that Calhoun didn't sleep.
Yeah. And we ended up 0-0, and finally in the last, I don't know, the end of the game.
Right. We had him pinned down.
And Matt snags a interception.
Yeah.
Runs it for a touchdown.
Yeah, if I had to say, that was the play.
It was the play.
They were undefeated state champions. They had a 17-game winning streak. Route did.
Yeah.
And we broke it, and that was something to behold.
Yeah, something that they do at Calhoun that I think is a great recruiting tool. At the first game that they play in the season, they have all the kids that are going to be football players from first grade to 8th grade. They got a shirt on, it's got their name on the back, and they announce them at halftime, and they come running out on the field. Did you used to do that?
I did that, but I started that. But what we did was we did it with our 8th grade, and it was like, and they got
just the 8th grade.
Yeah, it got future Calhoun Warrior.
Yeah,
and their year, and it was a big deal. They were introduced, and I think. The moms might have made them something to eat and stuff like that, but they felt like kings, man.
You can see it.
Yeah, we got them out there on that field.
You can see those kids, man. They're just like, can't wait to be a Warrior one day. Yeah, it's super.
We didn't lose too many of them after that. Yeah.
No. Hey, if you're just joining us, I have Rick Johns, career football coach, coached at many schools. We're talking a little bit about Calhoun because That's where we coached together at years ago. So what's next?
Like I told you on our last episode, I'm just working really hard to be the best retired guy I can be, you know. I like my Illinois football and basketball. My wife and I, we have our own little routine. I've got grandkids, you know, coming along. I love dearly. And
you got any little football players there?
You know, I've only got one grandson right now, and I'll tell you what, if it works out, you know, he's a twin, and he's just a toddler right now. But, you know, my daughter Cassie, she's always been blessed with quick twitch muscle fiber.
That's good.
And the dad is like 6'4".
Could be.
Yeah, I mean, you know, his dad's a big cat. So, I mean, Tommy Brinson might be a pretty good player. Whether I'm around to see it or not, that's...
Hey, let's, you know, you were always good at reading players, knowing players. How about some advice, tips that you think parents today, you know, I mean, parents always, I mean, you know, every father, if he loves football and wants his son to be successful at football, there's some things they can do, some things they shouldn't do. What's your opinion on the do's and don'ts of helping a young boy become a good football player?
Well, first of all, don't buy into the game where you have to start playing the kid at 6 years old when the helmets are bigger than they are.
Yeah.
You know, I know
you're not for that.
You know what?
You've experienced it.
I've experienced it, and all my success at Calhoun, for instance, and a lot of it, say at Trenton Westland, and some at Troy, at Triad. We get these kids having never ever played a down. When these kids came to Calhoun, they learned how to put on pads for the first time.
Yeah.
You know, and we had plenty of time to get these kids ready. But the way sports are anymore, I think everybody feels if they don't
get started early.
Yeah, and that's fine. I know, for instance, Calhoun's got a great little league or whatever junior program. Mm-hmm. But you know what I'm saying is, if there's a kid left behind that matures a little bit late, just because he didn't play in 7th grade or 8th grade, that doesn't mean he can't go out and be a hell of a football player before it's over. Mm-hmm. Play anyway. You're going to get there. You'll catch up by your sophomore year, you know?
Uh-huh. Well, what would you suggest for parents?
Well,
don't start them young.
Well, I tell you what, I wouldn't start them too young.
Yeah.
I think junior high, you know, if you want to get them started junior high, I think that's fine.
Yeah.
There's just a lot being said anymore about it's
a tough game.
Yeah, and you take a guy, and these guys are so rare, who starts off playing, you know, when they're 6, and then they end up playing in the NFL. You know, that's just a lot of collisions. Yeah. You know, that's a lot of dings to the head. And football is doing such a great job right now at alleviating that type of thing. But if your kid wants to play football, I know it's scary, Mom. I do. I really do. But the thing is, there are so many good things that come out of football that maybe I'm biased, but I don't think it can be replicated in any other game. I really don't. There's nothing like sitting in a locker room pregame, getting ready to go out with your guys. And I mean,
it's almost like a street fight.
Yeah, and you know, I don't know of another game where your success is so contingent on that guy next to you.
Yeah.
Everybody's got to do their job.
Yeah.
And it's hard. You know,
yeah.
I think our country, I think we need hard.
Yeah. And you got to play. You got to play if it's raining. You're going to play, you know, if it's muddy out, if it's hot out, you know, you don't get the perfect conditions.
I've had so many kids, too, that played through painful things.
Yeah.
You know, hurts. And they play because of their dedication to that uniform, that school, and most of all to those guys in the huddle with them. You know, one of my favorite players ever, Brian Matthews, to call him Bud. I remember him dislocating a knee one night, and we're winning. We didn't have to get him back in there, but he had his kneecap. Doc Randy had told me what's going on. His kneecap was out of place. Anyway, at some point I turn around and there's, Brian. He's trying to get that kneecap back in, manually by hand. He wanted back in that game, So I mean,
well, how about for young players? Young kids that want to be a football player.
Mm-hmm.
What's your advice for them?
Play and you just hope that you have a coach that sells the game and they have fun. Because I tell you what, for every 2 kids that have fallen in love with the game and gone on to play football because of their youth experience, there's 2 that decided they're not football players and gave it up because they had a coach who just didn't get it. It's not about winning at that early age. If you go undefeated and, in the following year, 4 of your kids decide not to play, well, you failed. Your job is to sell football and make the kids love the game because it's hard, and they will benefit from it if they hang with it. But it's hard.
Yeah.
So you gotta have them love it.
I just remember me as a child. I wanted to play football so bad. We played street. I mean, we played just football.
Gridiron anchors?
Yeah, gridiron anchors, played down there, every Saturday, every time we could. And we played tackle, I mean, it was tackle. And
Rugby.
it was rough. But I couldn't wait. I could not hardly wait to get to high school to play football, Loved every second that I was in practice, even though we didn't win. We didn't win, but I just loved playing so much.
Yeah. So many of my teams, Chris, going back to when I played in high school, toughest kids, great teams, bad teams, all kinds of teams, all had one thing in common. When that last whistle, whatever, when the season was over, these kids are crying.
Yeah.
They're just devastated that it's over.
Yeah, I know.
And for something that tough, and win or lose, these guys just knowing that they've done that for the last time.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know what your record was in high school.
We were good.
You were good.
We weren't East St. Louis good.
Yeah. My teams that I played on, we weren't good. We didn't win many games,
Right.
But I mean, we still loved it. I mean,
Sure.
we didn't win, but and teams, like my brother Jeff, they had a good team. They played, they were competitive, and teams after us we just had a hard time scoring. There's a lot of the conference that we were in, it was seasoned, it was tough,
Yeah.
and
best small schools.
Yeah, the WIBC,
in the state,
it was tough, but. I'm glad you came along, and
I am too.
You came along and turned Calhoun. Calhoun is there's such a football community.
Yeah,
they love their football.
Yeah,
Can
I put in a plug for?
Put it in.
All those great female teams they got going over there.
I know.
Oh my God, Calhoun is they're an anomaly of athletic success.
And been doing it year after year.
Yeah, it's amazing. So, girls, God, hats off to you. I'm really proud of you.
Yeah, they're something else.
Yeah.
We won state softball and basketball and volleyball.
Yeah.
Yeah. They.
And whenever I was there, I mean, that was
that was years ago.
Yeah. It's amazing.
Women's sports have really improved.
Right. And that has to say a lot about the coaches too. I mean,
got some good women coaches.
Yeah,
and men coaches, but they've got some good ones.
Yeah.
Well, any last words do you want to say to our listeners here in the Tri-County?
Well, I appreciate you having me over. Love to talk football. It's You know, I mean, I really love to talk Calhoun football. You know, it was such a impactful time in my life.
What was your record at Calhoun?
Boy,
Do you remember?
I can't tell you exactly.
You had 2 state championships, one runner-up, and how many times were in the playoff? I mean,
it was, you know, I know it was over 120 wins, I think.
Yeah, I think so.
But and you know, the thing is, we had 2 losing seasons to start, and then we never. Yeah, our worst record after that was we had a 5-4 team that lost 2 overtime games, one at Greenfield and one at Triopia. But anyway, that would have been a decent playoff team too, I think.
Yeah. So, hats off to the girls over there in Calhoun.
Absolutely. Yeah. Proud of them.
Yeah.
And the coaches.
Yep. So. And the boys team, they're doing well too.
Yeah, they've got it going. They've got it going.
They should do good this year.
Yeah, I think they were. And I got to tell you, when I was watching these Camp Point teams, boy, they were very reminiscent of the Calhoun teams when we first got it going.
Yeah.
Same type of thing.
Yeah.
You know, and they just had a little bit more than we did.
Yep.
You know, today's team. But year in, year out, man, they just keep going. They're looking good.
Well, Rick, thanks so much for coming in today. Nice talking football with you.
Anytime you get caught in a pinch, give me a call.
All right. Love it.
All right, sure.
Okay. Well, take care.
Bye.